We would say, tell the states, have at it. Energy development and policy should be managed at the state level. What would happen? Well, Pennsylvania would do coal or natural gas or oil because we're a mecca, we've got everything. Penn State had a conference back last fall on energy, and after millions of dollars in several days and all the experts, what they discovered was that in energy, all roads lead to coal. We could have all told them that before the conference. And yet, we have a federal government that's strangling coal everywhere. What would happen if we freed the coal industry? Immediately, economics would change. When you reopen coal mines, they have to be re-outfitted. That's the timber industry, the rail industry, the heavy metal industry, the tool and die industry, the powdered metal industry, the safety industry inside the coal mines. Wow, that's secondary economic growth. One industry drops in, and all the industries that support it all of a sudden begin to grow. Economics is as much in your head as it is real. Because if you think things are going to get better, you spend money. If you think things are going to get worse, you hold the money you have. And both become self-fulfilling prophecies. If we got the federal government out of the business of strangling the energy of America and allowed the states to develop what they had, you'd have economic growth that was real. Instead, what did we get? We got a government stimulus package. What an interesting thing. You do understand there's one American economy. Only one. So the government took money out of the American economy to put into the American economy and called it stimulating the American economy. That would be like if you were ill and you had to go to the hospital and you needed a transfusion. I put one end of the needle in your leg, the other end of the needle in your arm, said, good job, transfusion. So all they did was move it around. There wasn't anything new. But if we allowed the states to develop energy, you'd have real growth. Now, primary is the mines or the wells. Secondary is all the industries that support it. Now you have all these people who have jobs and therefore have money. What do people who have jobs and money do? They buy stuff. That's the third level of economic growth, because now they're buying refrigerators and cars and televisions and whatever else that they've not been buying lately because they're broke. That's a huge difference. And if we began producing energy, it echoes way beyond energy. Because 1/3 of America's trade deficit comes from the fact that we import energy from the world. Wouldn't it be nice to sell it instead of buy it? A national security issue. Because I would love to be able, instead of sending trillions of dollars to the Middle East, where they take American money to buy guns to shoot at Americans, I would like to tell them, I don't care that you hate us, you don't have any money to buy weapons or outfit training camps or do any of those other things. That the way to build a corporation is to economically starve them. That's the reason. Because no issue exists in isolation, not one. It's how you look at government that makes the difference. The problem is we've got a bunch of people in Washington who say Washington is the answer, and all the people out here in Pennsylvania say Washington is the problem. Amen. It's time that we turn around what happens in Washington. There really are important things that Washington should be doing. They're not doing them. Because they're busy doing all the things they ought. That's where the contract needs to be fixed. That's where the contract needs to be turned around. And when you fix the contract, you fix the economics that go with the contract. Because the reality is tyranny is really expensive. When government seeks to be all things to all people, it needs all money. When government is limited by citizen action to do the things that it's supposed to do and nothing more, it needs a lot less money. But unless we begin to look for those and elect those who are willing to challenge the premise instead of just the symptoms, we're not going to turn it around. I get asked a lot, why are you running for senator? And there's a serious reason, but there was also a catalyst. Everybody has a catalyst in why they run. 2 years ago, in Pennsylvania, the Marriage Protection Amendment was being debated. You know, that marriage is between a man and a woman and not any of the other definitions that are running around out there. I was one of the driving forces, so I had to testify. So I'm sitting in front of the Senate committee, and Senator Vince Fumo, he was the senator from Philadelphia who was convicted on 139 counts and is in jail. Well, at the time, he was in the Senate. At the time, he was in the Pennsylvania Senate. And when you testify, you sit at a table, and then there's a row, and then there's another. So you're looking up at the senators. They're in tiers. So he's up one of the tiers. We didn't get along very well. And so it was kind of a war between the two of us. And he finally got so angry with me that he said to me, "Stop talking. You are nobody. You may not talk unless I say that you can talk. I am a senator. You are not. So if you want to talk when you want to talk, you go and run for senator and get elected, and then I will have to listen to you." Unfortunately, his attitude is absolutely indicative of what's going on in the halls of the Capitol with way too many elected officials. Now, I told you we're kind of standing at a precipice. Precipices are opportunities as well as crises, because they give us the chance to change direction. They give us a chance to turn things around. My whole life, I've counted on America. I built my life on it. I counted on the freedoms, I counted on the opportunities, I counted on the openness, I counted on the miracle that is America, and probably so did all of you. At this moment in our history, America needs to be able to count on us, because our country now needs us to give back all the things that she's given to us. Remember that kid in the Navy? Well, every day he gets up and puts on a uniform, which means he says to America, "You can count on me." I couldn't look him in the face if I wasn't willing to do the same thing. In the past 40 years, we have believed the lie that Washington has told us. Washington has told us, if you just trust us to control freedom, isn't that funny, control freedom? You just trust us to control freedom, everybody will be free to sing. Government is never about freedom. Government is always about power. That's who and what government is. It is a dangerous servant. The home is about freedom. Government didn't build America. Families did. It was families in the Conestoga wagons. Every town, every community, every business, every church, every civic organization in this country was started by family. And now government wants to redefine that. It is time for us to stand up together and remind Washington that freedom begins at home. And it is from the homes of America that we're going to stand up and take it back. Thank you. You never have to pay to get in. I'm going to ask you for money before you get out. And you can ask me any question you want except my weight, which you can ask, but I won't tell you. So, I don't want to keep you here forever because I have this thing about being on time. I think it's respectful. While we start, I brought with me tonight, and I'm going to ask Jim here if he would help me give out. If you already have or received information from me, don't take one. You are going to get them in yellow folders. I want the folders back. I also have a philosophy about campaigns. Campaigns, like the government, is run with other people's money. So you shouldn't waste it. And these folders can be used again. So I want them back. The paper's inside. There are two sides. On one side, is a paper that will have a title on it.